Hi sweeties, welcome back to my channel. Hope you all are doing great. In today's tutorial, we'll be learning how to cut and sew this beautiful 8 pieces blouse and the skirt. In this video, we have the complete tutorial of both the cutting part and the sewing part of both the 8 pieces blouse and the skirt. So make sure you don't skip any part of this video. This outfit was inspired by one of our popular female designers in Nigeria, Prudence Gabriel. She is the one in the video. I made this outfit with a 5 yards of Ankara fabric by 45 length. So make sure you watch this video to end. I'll be cutting it first with my pattern paper. Let's go ahead and do the needful. So we are starting our tutorial with the 8 pieces blouse. So the first measurement I will be taking is my front neck depth, which is 3 inches from my shoulder. So after that, I will take my bust point, which is 10.5 inches, followed by my under bust, which is 14 inches, then my half length, which is 17 inches from my shoulder, then the length of the blouse, which is 25 inches. So I will go to the center of the paper. I will take all that measurement again so that it will be easier for me to rule the lines across. So guys, these are all my vertical measurements. So the first one there is my bust point, 10.5, and this one is my under bust. Then after my under bust, we have my half length from my shoulder, which is 17 inches. So I will come to my neckline. I will take my neck width. Can you see? My neck width is 3 inches. So I'm taking 3 by 3. So I will connect them. Length times width. Please bear in mind we are cutting an 8 pieces blouse. Thank you. So after that, I will come back to my shoulder line. I will take my shoulder measurement divided by 2, and that will give me 8 inches. So on that same 8 inches, I came down by 1 inch, and this 1 inch will be the shoulder slope. So I will connect it to the neck width. So from there to get my bust line, I divided my bust by 6, then I added 1.5 to it, and that will give me my bust line. So that is it right there. You can call it bust line or chest line. So this is what it is. So under my bust line, I will take my shoulder measurement again divided by 2, and that will give me 8 inches. So I will connect it to my shoulder. I will connect it to my shoulder, and this line now will serve as my armhole line. So I will go to the length of my blouse, which is 25 inches. I will take nipple to nipple, my nipple to nipple measurement, which is 8 inches divided by 2, because you are cutting your blouse on fold. So 8 inches divided by 2 will give me 4. Then I added half an inch for sewing allowance. Please remember that this pattern paper, the length is not up to 25 inches. I'm just letting you know that the length of my blouse will be 25 inches. The length of this paper is about 23 inches. So I will add it. I will complete the length when I'm cutting it on my material. So I'll go ahead and take my dart. I'm taking dart of 2 inches on the side front and 1 inch for the center front, as you can see. So I'm taking that both on the length of the blouse, the half length line, and the under bust line, as you can see me doing. So on my chest line, on my bust point, I will come down by 1 inch. Then I will go up by 3/4 of an inch. So I'll go ahead and connect all my dart line from the length of my blouse, which is this pattern paper, to my under bust. I took 2 inches on the side front and 1 inch on the center front. So that's it. So I've connected the lines. So now I will connect my dart from my under bust to my bust line, my bust points. So you can see me doing. Can you see that? So I'll come to my armhole line. I will divide my armhole line into 2. That's the midpoint. I will come down by 1 inch. Then from the midpoint, I will go up again by 1 inch. Can you see it? So on the side front, I will add 2 inches because of the 2 inches that I'm cutting out. So I will add it to the side front. If you don't do this, when you are joining the side front to the center front, it will definitely be very short. So remember to replace the dart you're cutting out. So I will now connect the upper one to the center front, as you can see me doing. Can you see that? So this is what it is. So now I'm going to take all my horizontal measurements, my round bust, my bust measurement divided by 4. Then I will add the darts that I'll be cutting out. That's 1 inch right there. Then I will go ahead and add my sewing allowance. I'll do the same thing to my under bust and also to my half length. So I will replace the darts. Then I will add 2 inches for sewing allowance and both the ones that I'll be trimming out. So remember to add your allowance so that you won't run shortage of fabric when you are sewing. So it's better to have excess than to have shortage. So I'll go to the length of my blouse. I will do the same thing. I will add the 3 inches that I'm cutting out. Then I will measure my round hip. So whatever it gives me, I will add 2 inches for sewing allowance. So I will connect the lines from my bust line to the length of my blouse. So I'll go ahead and trim it out. I'll go ahead and cut. Can you see? So I had the paper on fold. So I have to cut out. I'll be using that remaining one for the back. But when I'm cutting it on my material, I will cut it on fold. So I'll go ahead and label all the lines. The first one is my chest, followed by the bust point, the under bust, the half length, can you see? Then the length of the blouse. So I'll go ahead and cut. Just watch the way I'm cutting it. Please guys, remember to share this video. Remember to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you are new here. Thank you so very much. So I'll go ahead and cut. So this right here is my neckline, 3 by 3. So I've cut out the center front. So the one I'm cutting now is the side front. So this is what it is. Can you see? So the next thing we'll do is to place it on our lining. But at this point, you can choose to place it on your main fabric. It's still okay. So it's time to cut out the wings. Should I call it wing or the fleece? So you know this pattern paper, the length is not enough for the length of the blouse. So I added 2 inches to the length I have right now. Can you see that? So I added 2 inches on the down part. So what I have now is 25 inches. So I'll be creating the wings from the half length. So from where the length of the blouse is, I will add 4.5 inches. You can add 3 inches, you can add 4 inches, you can add 5 inches. It depends on what you want to achieve. So from that 25 inches, I will come down by 6 inches again. So I'll come to this other side. I came up by 2 inches because I don't want this part to be pointy. Can you see? I came up by 2 inches, while the front side I went down by 6 inches. So I will now connect it. If you watch the blouse very well, you know that the front part is longer. So this is the part I'm measuring right now. So I will now connect it to the half length of the blouse. So this is what it is. So I'll now go ahead and trace the paper, the pattern paper on my lining. So I'll go ahead and cut it. So this is the center front. Remember, I added half an inch where I'm cutting now just for the sewing. So this is for the sewing. So that's why I have to add that half an inch for the center front. So this is what it is. This is what the center front of our blouse look like after cutting. Can you see? So the longer part is the center front, while the shorter part is the side front, is the side of the center front, sorry. So now it's time to place the side pattern on our lining. So I'll do the same thing I did for the center front. I will add 4.5 inches. Now I will do the same thing here because it's the side front. So the two parts are equal. So I will connect it. So I will still come up by 2 inches from the length of the blouse. So I'll go ahead and do that to avoid pointy. So I came up by 2 inches on the two sides. I will do the same thing to this part. You see? So the two sides now are the same length with the paper. Can you see what I'm doing? So I'll go ahead and cut. So I added 4.5 inches to my own. So if you don't want your own to be like my own, you can add 3 or 3.5 inches. But I think this 4.5 inches is really okay. Some people do add 6 inches. Some thick madams, they will tell you, I want it big, I want it like this. Can you see? So this is the side front of my blouse. So go ahead and cut the back parts. So I'm taking 1 inch for my neck depth. I will take the half length. I'm taking 16.5 inches. So the next thing I will do is to take the zip allowance. So I took the measurement to the down part, 1.25 inches. So I'll go ahead and connect my line. So what I have here now is only my half length line. So I will come to the shoulder. I will take my neck width. So remember, I'm taking it from my shoulder, my zip allowance. So I'll take my neck width 3 inches by 1 inch. So I'll go ahead and connect it. I'll go ahead and connect the lines together. So you can see me doing. So I'll go ahead and take my shoulder measurements divided by 2, 8 inches. Then on that same 8 inches, I came down by 1 inch for my shoulder slope. I will connect the lines. Connect it to the neck width. So from there, I will come down by 8 inches. So this 8 inches is my bust line or chest line. So I will now draw a line across. I will rule a line across, sorry. Can you see? So under my chest line, I will take my shoulder measurement divided by 2 again, which is 8 inches. Then I will connect it to my shoulder slope. Remember, this is our armhole line. So I'll go ahead and take my nipple to nipple measurements at the back part. I'll take that on the length of the blouse. I will also take it at on the half length, on the chest line. So this is what it is, 4.5 inches. Nipple to nipple, 8 inches divided by 2, 4 inches plus half an inch sewing allowance. So I'll go ahead and connect the lines together. So on the back part, we are taking half an inch for our darts. I'm taking that on the half length line. Then on the length of the gown, the same half an inch on both sides. So at the back, there is no bust line. There is no under bust because there is no bust at the part. So why we take this dart here is just because of the shape, because the back is not straight. So you have to take the darts. So I'll connect it from the length of the blouse to the half length. Then I'll now connect it to my bust line. That is 1 inch below my bust line. Can you see that? This is what it looked like. So I'll come to my zip allowance line. I came in by half an inch to avoid bulge at the back when I'm facing my zip. So I'll connect it to the down part, then I'll also connect it to the upper part. Can you see? So this is also because of that hole at the middle of your back. So I'll come to my armhole line. I will indicate my half, the midpoint of my armhole line. So I'll now connect it to the side back, to the dart line. So this right here will now be my new armhole. So the next thing I will do is to take my bust measurement divided by 4. I'm adding 2 inches for sewing allowance. Right here, there, I'm not cutting out any dart. So I'm cutting out 1 inch dart on the half length. So I'll add it. Then also add my sewing allowance. So on the hip line, which is also the length of the blouse, I will add the 1 inch, half inch darts. So I will add them to be 1 inch. So I will still add it to my hip circumference. Then add my sewing allowance. Can you see what it look like now? So I'll go ahead and create my neck curve. So this is what it is. Can you see that? Please remember to give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're new here. Stay glued to this channel because we have a lot to learn. And whatever you don't understand in this tutorial, please always remember to let me know in comment section. Please, I'll be right there to answer to your questions. Thank you so very much, guys. So I'll go ahead and cut. I've cut out the center back. So this is the side back. So after this, the next thing we'll do is to cut the flay the way we did for the front part of this blouse. So I'm going to place it on my lining and do the needful. So I've already added the length, the 2 inches for the length. So guys, every measure I applied to the center front, I'm repeating it on the center back. So I'm repeating this just for you to have a concrete understanding about this 8 pieces blouse. So the center back, I came down by 6 inches from the length, from the actual length of the blouse, just as I did to the center front. So I will now connect it to my half length. You know, the wings or flay, whatever you might call it, they are all connected to the half length, as you can see in the video. Your half length is the vertical measurement you take after your underbust from your shoulder. Always place your tape on your shoulder, then take all your vertical measurements. Your shoulder is the starting point of your measurements whenever you're making a blouse or a dress. So we are done cutting. The next thing I will do is to all these measurements on my lining, I will cut it both on the main fabric. I will cut it on my hairstay. Can you see this is the fabric? So I'll go ahead and cut. I'll cut, this is the side back. I'll cut the center front, the side front, and the center back. I will do all that. Then I will now cut my hairstay. Then I will gum them with my iron. Can you see? I'm done cutting all of them. I place my wedding. So from the center, from the half length down, I use the hard paper stay. Then from that half length up, I use, that's on the main fabric, I use only hairstay. Can you see? From there, from the half length to the down part, I use the hard stay. You know that hard stay that when you place it on a fabric to stand. So that's what I use on the down part, the flat side. So this is how I'll be joining it. I will join the side front to the center front. Can you see? I'm done joining that. I've joined both the back, everything. I've joined them. I've ironed. So I trimmed the sewing allowance on the bust side. I trimmed them out because I don't want that effect. So I'll now go ahead and take my final trimming. Please, when you're making this outfit, always remember that because of the kind of paper stay I used, it might not be that easy for you to manipulate, but you have to, because it's always beautiful when you use a thick paper stay for your flays or 6 pieces to make it stand very well. So I'll go ahead and trim. You already know how I do my trimming. It's just to take all my horizontal measurements. Then now I'm going to be adding 1.5 inches sewing allowance. So you're just repeating the next thing I did. So you are taking this final trimming to make sure that everything is in place, and you are now making the armhole. This is the last time you're trimming it. So right now, after joining, it will not be in the same shape. So you have to trim it out. So this is what it is. So I'll cut out the armhole. Remember to come in from the midpoint of your armhole by either 1/2 inch or 0.75 inch. That's 3/4 inch. So this is it. So I'll go ahead and place it on the back parts, and I will cut it out. Cut out the armhole. So this is me placing the front part to the back part. So when you're trimming, make sure you head the cloth with your fingers. Can you see how this down part is standing? So this is what it is. So I'm trying to make sure that my armhole is complete so that it won't be too tight. So I'll go ahead and check the measurement of my armhole. So what I have is very, very accurate. So now I want to cut out the yoke. So I'm taking 7.5 inches. Remember, I've cut out 3 inches before. That's why I have to place my tape like that. So I'll come to the shoulder parts, the armhole parts. I came down by 4.5 inches. So I'll now create my sweetheart's neck. Can you see? So this is what I'm trying to form a sweetheart. So I'll cut it out. Can you see what I'm doing? So this will now be my yoke, the yoke of my blouse. It's not my yoke. So these are the two front parts. So I'll place it on the back part. I will take the same measurement. So this is me placing the front parts on the side, on the back part. Then I will cut it out. So I'll now cut this yoke on the lace fabric. So the one on top is the front and the one under is the back. So I'm cutting out the yoke. This is my lace fabric. So I'll cut both the front and the back. Can you see? So I'll now pick the two fronts. So this is how I'll be joining them, but I have to do something else before the joining. Remember, these are the two front parts. So let's find out the first thing to do before joining the two fronts. So these are it's just like bonus casing, but I did not add any bonnet to it. So the width is just 1.25 inch. So I will stitch it on the dart line. I'll stitch them on the dart line, and this is for the down parts. Can you see? I cut it like a C-cut. It's not really a straight line. So from the down part, I came up, from the length of the gown, I came up by 2 inches. Came up by 2 inches. This is just satin, so I place the lace fabric on top. So I will now stitch it. Can you see I came up by 2 inches, so I will stitch it on that 2 inches. Then I will now turn it. I will now stitch it together to the main length of the blouse. So can you see what I'm doing? So this is what it is. Can you see? I'm done joining them. So you have to attach these straps before you now stitch your lace, your yoke, the yoke to the blouse. Can you see what our blouse is looking like? Isn't this lovely? So after stitching the strap, you now stitch the design at the down parts, then followed by the yoke. So this is what our blouse is looking like. This is the lining. This is the inside of the blouse. So when you're ironing, remember to iron flat with your hem gum when you're ironing the yoke parts. So what I will now do is to turn it. I'm trying to turn the down part. So I'll place my crinoline. This is my crinoline. I use crinoline. So that is why the blouse actually that's why it stood very well. It's not like you cannot achieve it. You cannot do it without crinoline, but it depends on what you want to achieve. So I'll place the crinoline, the lining. Can you see? The main fabric is the first, followed by the lining, then the crinoline on top. So after stitching, I will now turn it, then I will top stitch on the lining, then turn it inside. Can you see? So at this point, I'm going to give this a good press. When I said a good press, because everything inside is very, 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 very thick. But the crinoline, the thick paper stay, they are all thick. At this point, I'm sure you have subscribed. I'm sure you have given this video a thumbs up. Share this video with your colleagues. Thank you. So the next thing I will do is to join the back part together. That's the zip area. After joining the center back, I will join the shoulders, then followed by the zip, then join the side, and that will be all for this beautiful blouse. Please guys, make sure you make this blouse. The blouse is so lovely. So make sure you recreate it. You can make this for yourself or you can make it for your customer. Just make sure that you practice after watching. So after joining all the joinables, the next thing I will do is to give my blouse a good press, and that will be all for this blouse tutorial. Now let's go ahead and cut our skirt. So guys, anytime you're cutting a skirt, the widest you will fold is your hip measurement divided by 4. Your round hip divided by 4, then you add either 1.5 or 2 inches for your sewing allowance. So what I have here on fold is my hip measurement divided by 4. Then I added 2 inches for sewing allowance. So I'll come to my waistline. I will take my round waist divided by 4. So I added 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. So to cut all my vertical lines, I have to place my tape on 1.5. Then I will take all my vertical measurements from my waist to my hip, from my waist to my knee, then from my waist to the length of my skirt. So the 1.5 will be replaced later with the band. So I'll go to my hip line. I will take my hip circumference divided by 4. Can you see what I have on fold? Then I added 1.5 inches for sewing allowance. So I'll connect it to the shoulder. So I'll go to my knee line. Whatever I have on my hip, I will remove 1 inch or 1.5 inches from that. So I will now connect. So I will take the same measurements I have on my knee line on the down part of my skirt. So if you want it more pencil at the back, you can remove 1/2 inch or 1 inch from whatever you have around your knee. If you want your skirt to be very pencil at the down side. So this is what it is. So today I have to cut with my main fabric, but I'm cutting the wrong side. I'm cutting with the wrong side. So this is the front part of my skirt. Remember, it's on fold. So I'll go ahead and cut the back part. So I have to place the front parts on a fresh fabric. So the difference between the front part and the back part is just the zip allowance. And again, the front part of my skirt doesn't have that, but I will add that to the back part. So I'll come to the hip side. I will add 1 inch. So this 1 inch, I will connect it to the hip line. So I'll be using this 1 inch for my darts. Remember, it's on fold. So there will be 2 darts on the 2 sides of the back. So I'll go ahead and cut it. Can you see that? So I've already slashed the back part open for the zip. So I will now indicate the midpoint, the center of the skirt. That is where I'll be stitching my darts. So that is it. So I'll be turning. I have to turn it, the down parts. I turn it with my lining. Remember that your lining has to be 1 or 1.5 inches shorter than the main fabric. So this is it. So I have to turn it, the down part, I have to turn it, then top stitch on the lining. So on the center front, for the front part, I came down by 3/4 inch because of the slope. That slope you normally have at the center of your skirts. So I came down by 3/4 inch. You can do 1/2 inch if you want. It all depends on you. They will all come out fine. Can you see that? So this is the front part of my skirts. So I'll go ahead and take my final measurements. My final trimming. My hip divided by 4. My round waist divided by 4. So I'm adding half and I'm adding 1.5 inches to all of it because I'll be turning the skirts with the lining, the side. I'll turn the side because I'm not going to weave the skirt. So I'll turn the side with the lining. So that's 1.5. 1 inch will be for the sewing, then 1/2 inch will be for the turning. So I'll take all my measurements, my new remember to remove 1 or 1.5 inches from whatever you have on your hip. So to get your new circumference. So go ahead and connect. So after cutting it, I'll use the front part to trim the back part. So this is what it is. So after this, the next thing we'll do is to cut out the design at the front part of our skirt. So from my hip line, I came down by 6 inches. You can do 5 inches based on how you want it. So from there, just watch what I'm doing. You see the way I'm keeping my tape like V, just the way the design is on my skirt. So I will now come down again by 4 inches because it's going to be 2 lines, but it's V. So one part will be connected to the first 5 inches, then the other one, can you see what I'm doing? Can you see that? So you can place it, just place it on a fresh fabric, then you cut it out. Because if you cut it on your skirt, that means you have spoiled the skirt. So this is what I have. So because of my fabric is less and satin, I have to divide it into 2. Just watch me. Watch what I'm doing. So you have to slash that V part. So I'll now place 1 on the lace because I have to place the lace on top of my satin. So if you're using one fabric, maybe you have something like what's the name of that fabric again? any fabric you think will give you what you want. So no need of dividing it into two. Just watch and see what I'm going to do. So this is how I want it to be. Can you see? The lace has to be on top of the satin. Just watch. So I'll be stitching one lace to one satin, the other one to just like that. Can you see this? So this is how I stitch it. So I stitch it with the right side of the lace facing the wrong side of the satin. The right side of the lace facing the wrong side of the satin. Can you see this one? So what I will now do is to place it on top. Place them on top of each other. Can you see? I will now stitch them together. Can you see? After stitching them together, this is what it look like. So I will now flip one. Just watch. I'll flip one. Just watch what I'm doing. You see? To the one on top. One of the lace to the one on top. Then cross the satin under to the lace that was under. So this is what it is. So I'll go ahead and give it a good press. This is so simple. If you can achieve it, you will love it. There's nothing there. Can you see? After ironing it, this is what I have. So the lace now is now on top of the right side of the satin. So that's the need for what I just did. So I will fold all the edge. I'll fold them, then I will stitch. I'll go to my machine and stitch them together before I will now fold it. After folding it, I will stitch it again. So can you see? So now I will now open the front part. I will locate the midpoint of the front part of my skirt. That's where I will place the V. Right there is the midpoint of my skirt. Can you see how I'm placing it? So I'll go ahead and stitch. So this is what I achieve after everything. So I'll go ahead and place. I'll first of all join the back part together. Can you see? That's the zip line. The zip allowance area. I've torn it already. So I'll first of all join it together. So I didn't turn the front part again because of the design. I was not able to turn it with the lining. So right here is my band. What I have is 4 inches. 4 inches width, and the length is my round waist. So I'll go ahead and give it a first folding. I will iron. This is 0.5 inch folding. So I'll iron it. Remember, my skirt's band is 1.5. So this one I'm folding now is now the 1.5 inches, which is the skirt band. Remember when I was cutting my skirt, I have to make provision. When I cut it, I started from 1.5 for my skirt. So that's a band. Please, guys, remember to subscribe. Remember to share this video. Thank you so very much for always coming through for this channel. Thank you. And if there's anything you want us to learn how to do, please let me know in the comment section. Don't forget. So I'll go ahead and attach the band to the skirt. So I'll be attaching it from the right side. See? So I'll go ahead and stitch it all round. After stitching, I will now close it. So I'm stitching from the right part of my fabric. Please remember to subscribe, remember to like. Thank you so very much, and bye for now.